Hello once again, this is Alan with Faire.com, and I'm going to try something a little different for this video journal. A bird's eye view, maybe a patron's eye view is more appropriate, of Festival Park. Now, across the river is where the bridge is going to be. Parking will be over there, and then we'll cross a footbridge over to this side. And I'm going to kind of walk around and give you a tour of what it's supposed to look like, and I'm going to try to do this without everybody getting sick from camera motion. Now, through the woods on this side of the bridge is where we're going to enter the village. So I'm going to kind of walk up this way and narrate this tour the best that I can. For those of you that get motion sickness watching things like this in home video, you might want to skip to the next one. There's a big hole in the ground. You know, I think I used to live there. Back through the woods it's going to cut. There's a sight line up here we can see through right now, but eventually it's going to be a wall of corn to kind of block visually the entrance from the village, so you won't actually be able to see the shops like we can right now. To the right, as I turn, is the back entrance to where the Pirates Cove Fantasy Realm and maybe even some living history groups will be. Again, that is going to be separated off. The entrance will actually be from within the festival site down to the right. Let's walk up this way a little bit more. Now, somewhere right in front of me is where the entrance to the festival will be, the entrance gates. Where we're standing at now is kind of going to be an outdoor containment field. You can actually see some of the corn starting to pop up right there. That's kind of nice to see. And right about here is going to be the big entrance gate archway. It's going to be a large two-story facility. It'll have a walkway at the top where actors and performers will be up there to greet the crowd. We'll get the royal court up there in the morning to talk to people. And at some point, opening gate will be held, and the festival will be declared open. Okay, I can't walk with the camera or talk today. We go through the archway, and we start out at the end of Main Street. Now, this is going to be a large courtyard. Perhaps one day we'll have a nice fountain here or something like that. And on the left and the right-hand side are going to be the Main Street shops. The Main Street shops are built to look like large two-story buildings. And on each side you're going to find things like the souvenir stand where you might buy the festival t-shirt and various other artisan merchants that are going to be helping fill out the Main Street area. So these are actually going to be part of Festival Park's shops that they're going to be able to make available for different types of events. It also means that if there's a smaller event during the off-season where the whole park isn't needed, a corporate outing, things like that, it could be restricted to these buildings up here without affecting any of the merchant shops. At the very end of Main Street is the banquet hall, which you can see has a roof and some walls on it now. It doesn't really look like much beyond a building with a neat roof. That's going to be a performance area, a dining area. And we're coming down to the first path choice, where we'll be able to go to the left and the right. The walkway we're on now will actually be about twice this wide. Over on the right-hand side at this very first corner is the Scots Dragon. You can find them at thescotsdragon.com. They're a Ames-based clothing merchant which carries things like kilts and shirts and bodices. Joanna is the bodice goddess. So all the ladies out there wanting to get involved, she's going to be the one you're going to want to go check out bodices from. They were the very first merchant to lease a space in Festival Park. And over here on this side, oh, I wish I could remember what this one was. But the one to the right of that is Fine Hats by Felicity, which is Fine Hats by Felicity. Now as we turn around this corner, we're going to be looking down, and there'll be more merchants filling in this gap on the right-hand side, but you'll be able to see the castle peering out above all the merchant shops. And in Disney speak, this would be the weenie, the thing that draws you into the area. So we're going to kind of take a stroll down this left-hand road here. As we walk in to the road, we're going to see that there'll be merchants on the left and the right-hand side. Still got a few more that have to crop up here, especially over on the right-hand side. And we find our first food merchant right here. I run into these folks all the time at various soft events. They were even down in Oklahoma. Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. The food merchant is this one over here, I believe. And this one is... oh, see, now I'm confused. I'm not real sure. Okay, one of these is a food merchant. And we've got another gap for another building to go. That's a turkey leg stand, which now has the roof on it. And over here is the coffee and chocolate location. And as we keep on walking, we'll arch around this way until we can see the large castle, which I believe has been given a name, and I haven't learned the name yet. I've been too busy editing these things together. The castle is going to have a large seating area in front of it, and of course the drawbridge is down, which will become the main stage. And from here we can go to more shops and games that are going to be along this way, which haven't worked on yet. Or we'll be able to go, and if we decide to, we'll be able to turn to the right and go right back up towards the banquet hall. So there's actually two roads. It makes a little loop. As you can see over on this other side, it also makes a loop, so you'd be able to walk past the castle and go up the back way to where the jousting list will be. Let's walk down here a little bit. We've got some new construction going on here. Not sure who they are yet. We've got leather and clothing and things that are going to be happening right here. I think this is Hammer and Thread. We interviewed Gerald from there in a previous podcast. And we go up this way to the banquet facility. Now you can see there's a lot of construction going on. You can see there's more posts and footings that are being put in for something here. And that's pretty much how it happens. The poles go up, and we're going to be very careful to not step in things like this. You're going to see the bottom of the hill. Sorry, the bottom of the hole. I'm actually behind some merchant shops here, so I'm not sure if this is even going to be a pedestrian walkway at this point. And here's a closer look at the banquet hall. And as we walk through the banquet hall, it's being used for construction storage right now, but it's a pretty nice sized building. Not sure what the seating is going to be, but past the banquet hall on each side, you'll be able to get to the jousting area, the jousting list. Now for the Renaissance Festival, this will be where the joust is. For the Country and Cajun Festival, this is where the Wild West show will be. For other events, there'll be a lumberjack show out there. And you can kind of see where it elevates up right here, if that shows up in the video. The seating is actually elevated from the road a little bit, so people will be sitting a little higher. Let me step up here. And that fence marks the boundary. It's as close as patrons will be able to get to watch the jousting going on right on the other side. So I'm actually on where the seating area would be. Over here is the walkway. It's a lot more construction that has to happen here. So let me get back over to the walkway, since there's not a joust going on yet. Something else that's been popping up here. Again, I apologize for not knowing what a lot of this stuff is. There we go. Whatever that is, it's huge. And right over at the end of the jousting field is the combo merchant shop. It's going to have about 4 or 5 children-oriented shops in there. Cotton candy and jewelry and things like that. You can see more of the fence work being done. And I'm going to walk back up this side. We're going to look at where they're doing practice right now for the sword groups that come up here every Tuesday night, although this is being recorded on a Wednesday. Now I'm kind of off the road here, not quite sure where the walkways are going to be. Oh, actually, yes I do. There's the remnants of the first level of gravel. Gravel's good. Without gravel we get mud. Here's the back side of the Scots Dragon. Over there is the other edge of Main Street. And then over here we have, to the left, Bud's Homemade Root Beer. And, what's that building on the right side?
Kettle corn.
Kettle Corn, right. Bud's Homemade Root Beer and Kettle Corn. And we have our sword people here. Now, where we come out over here is the end of the road that I started out on, right over there at the edge of Main Street that went down towards the castle. And we'll kind of take this road down here into the land of future expansion.
Make the fight look, feel more natural. Okay?
That's exciting stuff.
Your blocks, maybe move to one side.
All right. Now, a lot of this is not going to be filled out during the first year, a couple of years. This is, I guess, phase 2 and beyond. But what is going to be used at this ending section of the property is corn. Lots of corn has been planted here. It's going to be a large corn maze. I forget what the acreage is on it. but this will be one of the attractions available during the Renaissance Festival in September. And then in October, when Sleepy Hollow becomes Sleepy Hollow Scream Park with all their 5 or 6 haunted attractions, it's going to be part of a corn maze for that too. So they're actually adding more attractions. So if you can look out here, you can see that the corn is already starting to come up. Won't make much of a maze right now. But as far as you can see back there is all Festival Park property. So as the future moves towards us, does that make any sense? This will all be useful for more merchant shops and activities. So this is all future expansion. I guess that means we'll lose the corn maze. The very end of the planned road right now comes down this way. We can actually see remnants of the original temporary road that was put up here. But this could all be conceivably merchant shops and more aisles and more alleys, and I'm not sure what all is being built for the opening year. I know there's about 50 or 60 spots, counting concessions, counting game locations, counting the rides. And we walk back up this way. Now we see the jousting field ahead of us. Over the right, we've got access to the merchants that are going to be back in this area. Nothing started yet except for theirs. Last October, this was part of the haunted hayrack ride. So this has all been dug up and buried right now. So again, I'm walking over something that once was a road. Not sure if it's still going to be used as one. And let's try to be real careful. This is why coming up here is very dangerous. I'm not even going to try to step on that. Okay, good. And back up here to the end again. So about the only thing left is to take a quick look around the castle and see if there's been any changes on it. Again, I apologize for the bouncy camera work here. At some point, the banquet hall will end up being enclosed and could conceivably have air conditioning put into it. I know there was talk and rumors early on of having another air conditioning unit available, so we might end up, especially for summertime events, having an enclosed air-conditioned facility, who knows, down the line. Also be great for having events out here like the July 2007 Country Music and Cajun Food Festival, which is going to be planned. Let's go back over this way. Again, the road kind of dips back down at the end of the jousting field. Once again, merchant, game shops, things like that will line up on this side here, giving us a sight barrier to the berm and the edge of the property. And we walk back up this way to the castle. And not a lot of work on the outside of the castle, but I'll point out some of the things that are kind of interesting. A little behind the scenes tour here. Let's step up to the elevated viewing area. Steps up about 4 feet, and then the stage itself is up maybe another, I don't know, foot or so from that. This is the main stage. Little windows are set up but aren't cut out yet. And what's nice for performers is there's instant access to the backstage area. Now the construction goes all the way down. So we have backstage area for us to go and put our stuff in, and little cubby holes that lead up to the passages up there where we're going to be able to lean out and talk to people. Kind of hard to see here in the darkness. And the same thing on this side, including a very dark peek inside the old storage building back here. Okay, a little too dark. Gotta learn how to work the camera. Now this is what performers are going to see. And walk around over here to the edge of the merchant lane. And the side of the castle, I believe, is going to be home to some kind of climbing wall. And the boards have been kind of put in edge to edge to kind of look like the stonework there. So there we go, a quick tour of what's here right now for Festival Park. Since I'm a little thirsty and hungry, I think I'm going to pop over here to 2 Inches coffee and chocolates and get me a drink. But you keep checking the site, or better yet, subscribe to the podcast feeds. You get these automatically when I post them. And I'll bring you another update as soon as I get back out here again. Thanks for watching.
This is the turkey leg song. This is the turkey leg song. I want a turkey leg before they're all gone. Oh, this is the turkey leg song. Okay, let's do the second verse. Same as the first.